Mark's shift at the distribution center had been brutal. The kind of night that makes time feel thick and syrupy. Every hour dragged. He was exhausted before midnight even hit, and by the time his manager finally said, "All right, you can go," Mark felt like his bones were vibrating inside his skin. He stepped outside into the wet November air. Rain had softened into a cold mist that clung to everything like ghosts, too shy to fully form. The world looked blurry. Streetlights glowing inside halos of fog. The parking lot empty and stretched thin, like an abandoned movie set. Mark rubbed his eyes. His car sat alone, under a flickering lamp that buzzed like an angry insect. As he approached, something felt off, like the darkness around him had weight pressure. A presence. He wasn't paranoid. Not usually. But tonight felt wrong. He climbed in, started the car, and the heater coughed before blowing out a thin breath of warm air. He pulled out of the lot, craving nothing but sleep. That's when his phone vibrated. GPS. A faster route is available. Continue for 19 miles, then take exit 42. The screen pulsed faintly. The voice that followed wasn't the chipper robotic tone he knew. It whispered, "Continue for 19 miles, then take exit 42. Mark's eyes snapped up. "Exit 42 doesn't exist," he muttered, but the app refused to close. The dismiss button simply wouldn't respond. Every time he tried, the map zoomed in and out like a shaky heartbeat, glitching, pixels crawling across the edges in a way that made his stomach twist. Still, he was exhausted, and the route supposedly saved almost 20 minutes. "Fine," he whispered, "whatever." He shouldn't have said anything out loud. The radio flickered on by itself, just static, just breathing. The first stretch of highway was familiar. Big green signs, distant truck headlights, the occasional lonely car cruising by. But within 10 minutes, traffic thinned to nothing. No cars, no trucks. Not even the distant hum of civilization. The rain faded, the fog thickened, and the darkness around him deepened into something almost physical. Then the streetlights shut off. Not gradually, not in random patches. One by one behind him. Like someone walking down the shoulder, flipping switches with perfect rhythm. Whip, whip, whip. Mark gripped the wheel harder. What the hell? His fuel gauge dropped again. He'd left with half a tank. Now it hovered near a quarter. Another mile passed, just another minute, and it fell below that. It wasn't possible. He leaned forward, squinting into the fog. Up ahead, glowing faintly. Exit 42. Open 24 hours. His blood turned cold. There it was, real, physical, glowing green and reflective through the mist. The road beneath his tires felt wrong as he turned onto it, like the asphalt had been poured yesterday, still not fully settled. The ramp spiraled down much farther than it should have. Too long, too deep. The headlights stretched over cracked pavement and weeds that looked brittle and bone-thin. By the time he reached the bottom, his car felt weak, hungry. Cold air seeped through the vents like the heater wasn't even on. Then he saw it. A tiny gas station, half buried in fog. Like a forgotten outpost. Like a place removed from time. The station looked old. Old in a way that made your skin crawl. One pump. One flickering neon open sign. One steel door with rust spreading like veins. The windows were dark except for a single dim bulb inside. Mark pulled up. His breath fogged instantly. Outside smelled of metal and wet gravel. Inside the store was silent. Dead silent. He stepped out slowly, looking around. The pump squeaked once in the breeze. On the glass door was a crumpled piece of paper, the letters shaky like written by someone in a hurry. "Follow the rules, do not look at the attendant." His stomach dropped. Another note, taped slightly below it. "If you break the rules, you will not leave." Mark exhaled a shaky breath. "Yeah." "No," he whispered, turning back toward the car. But fuel dripped from the line. A thin trickle. His gauge dipped dangerously close to empty, the needle trembling. He wasn't going anywhere. He lifted the pump nozzle, and it unlocked itself, clicking like it had been waiting. The numbers on the display rolled to 0. He filled up as fast as the old pump would allow, hands shaking. Something rustled behind him in the fog. He turned sharply. Nothing. Just the thick, suffocating mist pressed against the highway like cotton. He swallowed hard and looked to the station window. The attendant was now standing behind the counter. A shape he hadn't seen on the way in tall. Thin. Unmoving. Too still to be human. Mark felt ice crawl up his spine. He shouldn't go inside. He should get in the car. Drive. Escape. But something, some quiet pressure, pushed him, like gravity, or a hand between his shoulder blades. The bell above the door chimed weakly as he stepped inside. Ding. Ding. The interior was worse than he expected. The fluorescent lights buzzed in a soft, broken rhythm. Shelves were lined with ancient-looking products, canned goods with labels from the 60s, candy brands he'd never heard of, prices written in faded marker. The air felt stale, like it hadn't moved in decades, and the entire time, the attendant stood perfectly still behind the counter facing forward, unmoving. Mark kept his eyes on the floor. Then he saw the paper on the counter. Rules, but the version inside the store was longer. He lifted it with trembling fingers. 1. Do not look at the attendant. 2. Do not speak unless spoken to. 3. Do not acknowledge what you see in the windows. 4. When you hear the bell, do not hesitate. Run. 5. Do not accept anything you didn't pay for. 6. If your reflection speaks, do not respond. Mark's throat tightened. He lowered the paper slowly. His peripheral vision caught a blur. The attendant's head turned slightly. Facing him, even though Mark wasn't looking directly, a faint whisper brushed against his ear, icy and intimate. "You shouldn't have come here." His heart slammed into his chest. He hadn't looked. He was sure he hadn't looked. The whisper came again, closer, breath cold enough to sting. "And you're looking at me? Why?" Mark squeezed his eyes shut, teeth gritted. "No," he whispered. "I'm not." Silence. Too much silence. He placed the $20 on the counter without looking up. The bill was snatched away instantly, not smoothly. Not like a human hand. More like something jerked it with unnatural speed. He backed toward the door. One step, another. Hands shaking. He pushed it open. And the bell screamed. Not chimed. Not rang. Screamed. A metallic shriek that rattled the windows. Mark flinched, heart stopping. The lights flickered violently, and he saw the window. He broke rule number 3. He didn't mean to. He didn't choose to. His eyes just reacted. His reflection stared back at him, but it wasn't right. Its body was off by half a second. Its eyes too wide. Its grin impossibly stretched. And worst, it wasn't copying him. It leaned closer to the glass, slowly placing a palm against it. And then it spoke. "I've been waiting for you." Mark's legs buckled. The reflection's face pressed flat against the inside of the glass, skin stretching tight, teeth scraping, smile growing wider until the lips tore at the corners. The bell shrieked again. Lights exploded overhead. The attendant moved. Suddenly. Fast. Its head snapped toward Mark. Its neck cracked like dry wood breaking. Mark ran. He sprinted to the car, lungs burning, keys slipping in his trembling hand. Behind him, something slammed against the station door so hard the glass cracked. He dove into the car, The engine roared. He floored it. Something hit the side window with a wet, heavy thud. His reflection. Running alongside the car at full sprint. Keeping up. Face flattened against the glass, smiling, bleeding. Its voice leaking into the car like cold air. "Let me in!" Mark screamed and hit 80, then 90, then 100 tires, screeching. Fog whipping past in chaotic swirls. The reflection didn't fall behind. Not even a little. Then, everything blinked. The reflection vanished. The fog cleared. Cars reappeared on the highway. Streetlights returned. Mark jerked the wheel, gasping for breath. Exit 42 was gone. Just open road and the faint glow of civilization. He drove home numb, mechanical, trembling. He locked all the doors, closed the blinds, showered twice. But he didn't sleep. By morning, he needed proof. He pulled the dash cam card and loaded the footage. Hours of video were corrupted. Static, black frames, glitches, except one. Just one clear image recorded at 2:14 a.m. The gas station, pitch black. Front of the car illuminated faintly. And the attendant standing inches from the camera lens. Face pale, mouth moving. Eyes fixed directly into the camera, like it could see him through the screen. Mark turned up the audio. The whisper was barely audible, but perfectly clear. "Next time, you won't make it back."